You guys go ahead. Do I smell a Big Mac in here? Somebody having McDonald's? Got some guilty looking faces. I could go for a Big Mac.
Is this team right where you want it to be going into the regular season now?
Yeah, I think, feel really good about this group, Jim. Love the leadership, love the way they've approached really these last couple weeks as we've started to trim and tailor our focus towards the Bears. But we'll see on Sunday night. But I do like the way that the guys came in these last couple days. They've handled their business the right way. And, we've got a few more days of preparation, want to maximize those and kind of be totally and completely present like you hear us talk about, but feel good about this team and love the leadership of this group.
Was you finding yourself trying to pace them getting to the opener because the enthusiasm and the excitement can get sometimes too?
No question. And that's the goal. And that's where, we want to incrementally get this game plan installed so the players have clarity, ownership, and then they can go out and just let their rules and trust themselves, trust their teammates, and go play fast and confident.
Sean, you have worked so much with Matthew through the spring and summer in the learning process and the onboarding, the big picture install. What is he like when you guys get down into the granular team-by-team stuff?
He's really consistent, Jordan. He's got such a great feel. He's very open-minded, but he's also got strong opinions on certain things. And you hear me say that word collaboration, but I think it's more about making sure, do you feel good about this? And he's got a reason why he likes certain things, or maybe if there's something that you don't like, there's a big nuanced understanding and the big picture behind some of those reasons. But he's been great. This is kind of just the initial parts of our game plan installation, if you will. But he's been steady, he's been consistent, and that's exactly what you want.
Is there extra comfort in kind of the game plan, knowing the Bears' defense is a group that he's gone against twice a year for the last 4 years?
Yeah, I think that'd be a question for him, Lindsay. I know he's very familiar with their personnel. Now, exactly how they decide to play schematically, will be something that, we have some ideas, but again, until you play, you never know. And usually the first game of the season, even when you have continuity at the coordinator spots, that kind of holds true because teams have some chances to really study themselves or the landscape of the league or different things that they feel might fit their personnel. And so I think he'd probably be able to answer that better, but he's played well against these guys. I know he has tremendous respect for their personnel, and, I think he'll probably be able to tell you that one.
Obviously, Andy Dalton's starting for them, but are you guys prepping in case the rookie comes in at quarterback?
Yeah, I think you got to always have a plan, and part of the offseason program is just making sure that you have answers for different types of things that offenses can activate. Justin does a good job playing quarterback. There's obviously the athleticism that he has a great threat of being able to kind of create on his own, and then if they wanted to utilize him, as a runner. But those are things that we would absolutely be ready for. But that's something that we've kind of spent the offseason and getting ready for as you get ready for the season for different guys that that's going to be a factor. This might be a factor, and if it is, we'll be ready for it.
Seems like only in football, because the offseason is so long, could a team acquire a star and then have to wait 7.5 months to get him into a game?
Yeah.
Has that been interminable, or has it been useful?
It's, I never really thought of it quite that way just because you're so used to the cycle of the football season and how it kind of just goes and you get comfortable with your rhythm and routine. But I think there is a process that's required, especially when you're talking about whatever position it might be, but especially for the quarterback position where so many things are involved on every single snap. And it might be in the run game, might be in the pass game. There's just so many things that position entails that really allows guys to separate themselves from the other guys that are really good at doing this at a high level. So haven't really thought of it that way. I think every minute you want to maximize it, but we're certainly excited about being able to compete and see our team come to life on Sunday night.
We'll get the injury report later today, but how do you feel about your team's health?
I feel good. There'll be a couple guys. We'll give Whitworth his standard, veteran rest day. Sean won't be a participant, but he's still on track to do what we had discussed, and we'll be smart with Terrell Lewis, but we expect him to be able to play unless there's any setbacks that we're not seeing, that we don't anticipate.
Sean, it's pretty unique to play a conference team every year for several years. In the offseason, do you spend any time working on your tendencies?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you definitely have to spend the off seasons being aware, from a self-scout, and that stuff's ongoing throughout the course of the year as well. But it's ever evolving. We have played the Bears each of the last handful of years, and I think in a lot of instances, because of the way that the matchups work out, we've played them because we're doing well, or you're finishing in that same spot within your division. They were another year that they made the playoffs last year. I thought they finished the season really strong. They played really well down the stretch. they're a really good football team. They're well coached, and they've been consistently a good football team. So we know it's going to be a great challenge.
In the offseason, when you acquired Matthew, you were really, for lack of a better word, on cloud nine and excited. Every year you're excited about the season. Is it still match what it was 6-9 months ago?
It does. You feel really good, and that's, you feel pretty consistent in terms of being excited about the season starting, but it's always about the people that you do it with, and whether it's our players, our coaches, very excited, very confident in this group. But we got to go do it. We got to put the work in the rest of the week. There's been a lot of work that's been done prior to this, but we're looking forward to seeing it come to life on Sunday night, and what's going to be a great challenge because I know the Bears have been doing the same thing.
Coach, what's the best thing about your team right now?
The best thing, I think it's, probably our veteran leadership. I feel really good about those guys that have played a lot of football. I think the best sign of great leaders is they bring people with them. And that's what you're seeing from Aaron Donald, from Jalen Ramsey, from a young player in Jordan Fuller. That's what you see from Johnny Hecker on special teams. Matthew, Andrew, Cooper, Robert Woods, all those guys that you see are our captains. They bring people with them. And there's a lot of other guys that I could name as well in addition to our coaches. But that would be the best thing that I feel about our team right now.
Sean, I think the word of the off season was kind of collaboration
Mm-hmm.
in terms of what you were hoping to accomplish with Matthew Stafford. I think a lot of that it seems like a learning process and understanding what you both like in terms of the offense. But I'm wondering how you guys work through things and have conversations when he sees something that you hadn't seen or when you disagree about something.
Yeah, I think it's more just asking questions. I think it's all goes back to communication, Jordan. Being willing to give information, but more importantly, listen. And I think a lot of it is, all right, well, we each have a job. His job is to play quarterback at a really high level. One of my jobs is to help try to put our guys in the best spots. And part of how you do that is, well, let's really study what he's done and be ready to ask those questions, and then he's ready to give it back to you. Part of how we ended up acquiring him was you're really studying him, but then once you get him, then you're even going to do a deeper dive into making sure, okay, hey, was this a play that you like? Is this something that we want to carry? How do you see this? What did you see here that made you go to this spot with the ball? Getting an insight into what makes him tick, what lens is he seeing the game through? And it's all about that communication, and I think it's been really good. We've had a great rapport from the jump, and you guys know from being around him, he's really easy to get along with, but he's got really strong opinions, but it's never, if he does have a disagreement, it's never in a way that makes you feel like, all right, well, what the heck? It's always in such a disarming, good way of, hey, not necessarily having to agree to everything, but let's be solution-oriented, and that's exactly what Matthew's like.
From when you acquired him to that deeper dive, Sean, has there been something that's jumped out at you? Like you said, why'd you go here?
I think, there's a lot of instances, I could go through a bunch of them, but I think it's, from the jump, just his ability to recall all the different experiences that he's accumulated over the years and use those in the right way, whether it be learning from some things, oh, I do this differently, or being able to remember when you played against a certain defensive structure and things that you like to activate versus that structure. I just think he's used that inventory. You guys have heard me say repetition is the mother of learning. Well, he's had a lot of repetitions playing the quarterback position at a high level in this league, and his ability to recall and remember those and use them to his advantage is really how you get better, and that's what I think you see when you talk to him, and it's been pretty impressive.
The other experienced veteran you added to your offense is DeSean Jackson.
Yep.
We haven't talked about him nearly as much, obviously, but what kind of impression has he made on you, and what kind of impression do you see him making on the line?
Yeah, he's been great, Greg. I just think when we were connected a few years ago, we had a great relationship then. But seeing his growth, we've kept in touch from afar. We always had a really good connection. We worked together. But I think what I've been as impressed with as anything is I'm seeing the same player. Really, it's never been an ability thing. It's just, all right, availability the last couple years. And it's kind of been some freak accidents that's kept him off the field. But when he's played, and you guys remember even going back to last year in week 2, he was a real threat for Philly. He's able to still run. He has a great feel for how to separate, catch the ball. And again, very similar to Matthew. I mean, an incredibly smart player that's used a lot of experience that he's gained to apply it in the right way. And he's gonna be a big factor for us this year.
Do you see him acting kind of like an elder statesman in the locker room, or is that a possibility, or is he just a new guy and he's still kind of working?
Oh no, he's got respect, because these guys, they respect his resume and what he's done, and he's so secure in himself that he's got a nice way of being, the same DeSean Jackson he's always been, but he definitely has a lot of wisdom to impart on guys. You can see because of that respect that he's accumulated and really earned from his play, but also how he carries himself. Guys look up to him, they listen when he speaks, and he's done a great job kind of endearing himself to his teammates and fitting right in a really good way while still being himself.
Sean, going back to the collaboration with Stafford, I mean, just how much are you looking forward to finally getting the chance to, put that on the field and basically the culmination of that partnership over the last handful of months on Sunday night?
Yeah, you're looking forward to it, and it's really just the start, which is the good thing. We're going to learn a lot, but it's still it's one game. It's an important game because it's the only game we play this week. But we're going to make sure that we maximize our preparation this week. But very excited and really confident in what he can do. But we also know it's going to be a great challenge against a really tough Bears outfit.
You mentioned Ashawn Robinson. Seems quick for him to come back, 2.5 weeks after procedure. What have you seen, or what have the medical people seen?
Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I just know that it was a procedure that they felt like he could return. He's feeling good. He's approaching it with the anticipation and the expectation that he is going to play. But anything other than that, I'd be getting outside my wheelhouse for sure there, Kevin.
Couple more guys.
Yeah, I think that's to be determined. You guys know the confidence, Nick, that I have in Darrell Henderson, and you look no further than when we played these guys last year. He was tough in that game, leveled runs off against a really physical defense. When he's played at a really high level, and we have a lot of confidence in Darrell, and Thomas Brown's done a great job, continuing to push Darrell in the right way. Sony's had production that you could see over the last couple years. I'm excited about what I think he can contribute. And then Jake Funk is a guy that I don't think it's too big for him. He handled the preseason really well. He's done a nice job of just getting better and better, shows great maturity for a rookie. But, I think it's to be determined. But I do like the way that those guys complement each other's skill sets, how we utilize them during the game. We're still kind of working through, but feel really comfortable with Darrell leading the way. And then those other guys, excited to see what they can do. No, really, I think he's done a great job, kind of just learning. It's a little bit easier than when the whole playbook's up as opposed to when you kind of get into a little bit more game plan specific, so he can isolate on some individualized information and make it applicable to the opponent that you're going against. And so feel really good about that, and there's not going to be any situation that I anticipate us not feeling good about him.
Sean, this is super random being asked in garbage time, but as a quarterback and as a former one yourself, how does a quarterback decide how he's going to stand or squat or kneel in the huddle?
That is, really, I think it depends on how you set up the huddle. That's a question for Matthew. Because the way that the huddle was set up when I was in high school was everyone was facing me, so I stood in front, and I'm very short anyway, so I wasn't restricting anybody's view. But, you look around the league, it's definitely something I haven't thought of before, but certain guys are comfortable kneeling. I think in a lot of instances, too, it's a product of, all right, if you're dealing in a noisy atmosphere, everybody's got to lean in, and they kind of want to be able to look down where you're looking up and being able to communicate that information. I don't see that being a factor because I expect, Rams fans to be out there and be loud when our defense is on the field and quiet when our offense is out there. But Matthew would be able to answer that one a lot better. That is a random question.
I've never seen a deep, one-legged lunge. He does the deep lunge.
Breeze used to do a good lunge. But he'd more kneel down. But it is, to each his own there.
And we're wrapping up with Joe.
Coach, because you and your quarterback have this ability of recall, which is really, really good, does that make you even more creative than maybe at this point of the year as opposed to any other?
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting question. I think it's definitely helped Matthew in a lot of ways for our ability to communicate and his ability to use that stuff in the right way to apply it to the games. And I think it's going to be especially relevant early on, in this game, when you're saying, okay, what is the feel? What are we doing? What are they doing? And how do we want to try to, have the right solutions accordingly? But it definitely is helpful for the quarterback. It doesn't help me too much.
Just because you mentioned Bears fans are pretty notorious for traveling well. Are you guys practicing in silent time all this week?
we'll be. I mean, we've practiced it a lot. You know, we'll be ready, but hopefully, it's something that we don't have to use this weekend. All right. Thanks, guys.